I will show you where they had the little village, was a film by the name of Ryan's Daughter. Do you remember Robert Mitchum?
Yes.
Robert Mitchum and Sarah Mills and Sir John Mills. And that picture was made in this locality. The whole thing was made in this locality. And in 1968 they made the film. And in 69 it was shown. But they were waiting for a storm to finish off the film in 68. And they actually went to Africa to finish the last scene where there was a huge big storm. And they reckon they were gone out of here 2 weeks when the mother of all storms broke out here. They just missed out. So 1969, that was the first time that was shown, Ryan's Daughter. And today, we may be looking, or we may not be looking, it all depends on clarity. We might even see the Skellig Islands. Do you all heard of the Skellig Islands?
Yeah.
Why?
Star Wars.
Because of Star Wars. Star Wars, of course, filmed here in 2015 and 2016. And Star Wars was, well, Skellig Island. Skellig is rock. And the rock is sticking out of the water 600 feet over sea level. There are two islands, Skellig Mihal and the Little Skellig. Skellig Michael, I suppose, called after a saint, and the Little Skellig. So you have two rocks sticking out of the water, and they reckon it was in the 9th century that the monks set up on the Skellig Island. They wanted to be on their own, out in the middle of nowhere, and as near to God as they could. And of course they reckon that time, beyond that, there was nothing. Absolutely nothing as far as they were concerned. And they went out to the island. There was never any more than 8 monks on the island, they reckon, at one time. And they built these little things called beehive huts. And a beehive hut was a little stone building done with cobbling. There was no mortar whatsoever. It was just dry stone. And they built those little beehive huts high enough that you could stand up in and wide enough that you could lie down to sleep. So those are those little beehive huts. And they're out here on the Skellig Island where the monks went in the 9th century. And they reckon they spent 4 centuries there and they moved across to mainland Dingle. And we will see some of those beehive huts today across on the Dingle Peninsula. And when the monks, while they were there, they carved steps on that little rock and made steps to blend in. So there are 640 steps going from the bottom of the rock of the Skellig right to the top. And this is open to tourism every year. Now, CIE would never take a tour out to the Skellig Island because it's 7 miles out to sea. It's 7 miles from the nearest point of land. And you could have been booked that we could go down to the little village of Portmagee and that we would go there, we would go up there tomorrow. But it would be, the sea might be too rough. The waves would be too strong and you couldn't get to land on the island. So it's a very hard place to get out to. I was with a Dutch group 3 years ago. Now they didn't book to get on the Skellig, so they couldn't get on the Skellig, but they said we'd take a boat trip around the Skelligs. So there was 2 boats involved. There was 12 in one boat and there was 11 or something like that. There was 21, there was 9 in the other boat. So I got to go on the other boat. And it was kind of choppy when we left Portmagee. But as we went out to the open sea, it got very rough. And it was a young guy that was driving our boat and he went straight out and we were being tossed around like a bottle inside the water. And 3 of the Dutch ladies got very sick. And they took a vote whether they would go on or turn back. And after that, no one ever again spoke to me. I was the only one that voted to throw them overboard. There was no throwing overboard because one of the ladies got very sick. And I was delighted to come back myself because I thought it was very rough. But the other captain, he was an older man and he went along by the rock, along by the coast. And they got to go around the island. So they went around the 2 islands. It is a 2.5 hour trip